Hi everyone, my name is Kruti and I'm senior mobile developer at Isobar. Today I wanted to talk to you about how to get into technology, what are the options do I have, as well as a bit about my life and understand whether you want to get into programming or not. So I have few questions in my mobile which I have written down from the questions which people generally ask me, or career advice people generally ask me to give them. And I'm not a pro, I'm not a counselor for um, any engineering or co-curricular like courses, but I would I know what I have been noticing in my field, and I know what can be very valuable for all of you. I'm just saying it out. It might be a bit more personalized, but that's these are my views, and I hope you like them. So the first question I have is my name and what do I do? A bit about my personal life. So my name is Kruti Patel. I come from an Indian background, and I came to Australia about 5 years ish ago. I started as a back in India. I was a senior mobile developer and a lead. When I came to Australia, I had to start all over again, and I became junior developer, and now I am a senior mobile developer. I have been developing mobile apps since last 8 years plus, and I think so I have started developing Android apps when it was 1.1 OS version. The next question I have is, how did I get into programming? This is a very interesting question because being in Australia, I have realized that there are not many females in programming field, especially the younger crowd, which is now getting the younger crowd which is now finishing their studies and going into college. They don't prefer to go into programming, and this is something what made me come into YouTube to talk about as well, because I really feel that there is a need of female in the programming. It's so annoying to see when you walk into a meeting room, it's all male and you're just alone, and they don't take you seriously because you're a female talking about the programming languages background. In India, it's not very uncommon to see women in or girls getting into the engineering field of computer engineering or information technology. Actually, I would say there is at least 50% girls in programming and technology field over guys in computer science and all. And when I came to Australia, I actually felt it is really, really unique that we don't have many females. So yeah, how did I get into programming is basically my dad brought me a computer when I was in ninth standard, so approximately about 16 years old ish person. So I I didn't know much into computers at that time. I knew Word and PowerPoint and etc. And I was like, at that age is such that you want to play games. And so I was too much into gaming at that point of time. And I was fascinated that when I press the left button, the Super Mario, I used to play Super Mario a lot. So Super Mario runs on the left side. If I press right, but it runs towards right side, and that fascinated me. Then how does the backbone of this game works? How does someone program it such a way that it runs as per the desire? And that's what actually made me get into programming. Now after that, when I went into my 12th standard, which is the time when you actually finalize whether you want to go into medical or engineering or arts or commerce or something like that. And my sister, I have a twin sister, and she was very fascinated to get into dental or surgery related fields, like basically medical. And I always wanted to be into computer science. So I was like, that doesn't require that many percentage. I was just taking it casually and studying to focus on the getting the percentages or marks that brings me gets me to engineering. And when I but you know how it is, things doesn't work out the way you want always. So I didn't get that many marks. And in India you get admission based on your marks or merit system, and I didn't have enough percentages which will bring me which will get me to a good engineering college. And if I don't do it from a good engineering college, it's that engineering degree is worthless. So I was like, oh, I need to worry about my engineering and I don't know what I'll do. And my dad was really angry that he spent so much money and we still didn't get good marks. Then we always have a reshuffling, which basically means that once everyone has taken their degrees and everything, the leftover tickets where people backed out will be allocated to the people according to merit again. And luckily, I got opportunity to go into Charotar Institute of Technology where I studied, and which is basically a Gujarat University college. So I went and studied there and I did my engineering. I was not a amazingly awesome student, or I wasn't getting amazing marks, but I was mid to upper level of I used to get about 70% or something in my engineering. That's all. I was not one of the top students or anything. And that's how I got into programming. The next question I have is what is the ultimate goal of my life? When I moved to Australia, I there were a lot of opportunities for me to grow, and people here really care about what's your career growth and what you want to do in your life, and they will help you to grow in that field as well. So my ultimate goal is to become a CEO or CTO, which is Chief Technical Officer of a multinational company, whether it is Google, which is like way too high idea, but that's something I want to do in my life. And my mentors are have been proactively working to help me in that field. So yeah, that's what something I want to do. I don't want to start my own company or anything because I don't think so I have that much courage to be unemployed or put so much efforts in it, but I would love to become a CTO. Then the next question is, how does a developer's life look like? So my husband thinks that we all developers look different. Not really. We all developers just talk about programming languages or talk about the technology more than the usual people do. But otherwise our lives are exactly same. We wake up every morning, we have our tea and coffee, we go to work, come back from work, go and play sports or do some co-curricular activities, play with my dog, spend some time with my husband, go to sleep, and next morning again the same routine. Our lives are not different. So if you are thinking that a geek's life is very unique life and you constantly think about programming, it's not really the case. You do think about programming, but not a lot. The next question is, what do I do other than programming? I love playing sports. So I play like volleyball, basketball, cricket, women's cricket. I am a cricket player in a guys team. Then I play badminton. Yeah, that's how what I do other than programming. I also go to meetups and conferences where if I get chance, I talk over there about technology and stuff like Internet of Things or something like that. How do I become a developer and what do I need to do to start development or programming? This is the question I get asked very often. Like recently, I went to General Assembly for Android workshop, and I was expecting there will be a lot of young school kids who would be interested in coming there, but not really. There were so many people who are from like HR background, admin background, teaching background, and all, and they wanted to change their career and they wanted to get into programming, and that's why they came into my beginners workshop for Android. And whenever I get asked about this question, I always tell them that there is never a good time to start development. If you feel like doing a development, You just get into it, get your head around it, try to understand what is programming, try to understand object oriented language, try to understand how do I start programming, or which are the fields which will be useful for me to start get into programming. And that's what will help you to become a developer, to be precise. There are few things, like for example, when we studied engineering, we studied like C language first, then C++, got introduced to object oriented programming languages, and then got into Java and all the other .NET and all the other programming languages. So there are some steps, but you don't need to compulsorily follow these steps. For example, Android is very basic Java language, and you don't really need a lot of efforts to get into the Android field, because it's just basic Java programming. If you know what is object, what is class, those basic details, you will be very comfortable getting into Android language. Um, or for example, if you want to become a developer who does all the web stuff, learn HTML, learn JavaScript. Initially there might be possibilities that you don't get job and you struggle for a job, but instead of sitting around or doing some other job, of course you need to get money, so you will do some other jobs as well. But along with that, you can start freelancing work. For example, you can go to freelance.com or some website, create your portfolio, go online and just bid for the projects. If you get a project, and go for the smaller ones initially. If you get that project, just give it a crack. If you can't make it, you won't get earned, but you will learn something. You will learn how the real world works, and how what challenges you will face as a developer. Countries like Australia, USA, they count freelancing as a your work experience, which is amazing, because you don't have to worry about providing like your ex company's reference letter. So please, if you feel like doing it, go for it. Yes. Next question is, where do I start? There are some. This is actually quite a challenging question, because you can start in so many different ways. For example, if you don't have money, or you don't want to invest money, just go online, go to W3 schools or some website who has like live programming advices, as well as you can program on their editors and see what you are developing as well. So there are such websites where you can go on and search all these things and understand what is programming, what is object oriented. Sometimes it is tough because there are so many languages, and you need to research a bit that what is the current market look like, and what you need to think that now everything is becoming compact, everything is becoming smaller, everyone is using mobile phones and laptops more than desktop computers. So you need to get into, say, mobile development or web development, because these things are never going to go out of the market. These things are always going to be there for developers. Yeah, there will be few scenarios where you will have, for example, automation in development, but that won't be as much as um, what you would it won't be covering 100% of the development. Always remember that it is impossible to do 100% automation, and that's where exactly we developers will come into picture, and we developers will be required. There is another job which is amazingly going to be in demand in future, is the data analyst. Facebook, Google, Instagram, all those places have so many people who are registering every day, so much analytics data, and so many things that they are taking, or they are tracking of user. And to make sense of that data, to make sense of how many males, how many females are using, say, live video feature, they will need people to make sense of that data. And that's where I think data analyst jobs will be hugely required in the future. um, the next question is, how do I know if programming is something I can achieve my career in? Now, it's hard for a lot of people to understand programming. Like my husband, he does know programming. He has been doing building design since quite a long time, but he doesn't understand Java, or he doesn't understand the programming languages I work on. But that's perfectly fine. You just have to find out a language which you are comfortable with. And sometimes it is possible that you don't really get that as well, that you don't understand programming. Don't get disheartened with that. There are so many other fields in IT which you can achieve your career in. For example, you can become a test analyst, you can become data analyst, you can become project managers, you can become scrum master, you can become so many things, and it's all related to technology. So it's not just programming. I have noticed in Australia that people who get into programming are the people who really love programming. And that's something you need to always remember. Things you really love doing, get into that. So that's all the questions I have, everyone. If you have any more questions, please leave a comment below and I'll answer them. Or else, if you like my video, please thumbs up, because that helps me, keeps me motivated that you guys like my videos, and I'll keep making more and more videos. Next video, I'm thinking of having an interview with one of the developers I know and who has done amazingly well, and hope you will like that. Thank you so much guys for watching my video, and I'll see you around next time. See ya, bye.